states are the only means to fight against this.
Joining me now is the Greek Minister of Culture and Tourism, Pavlos Yeroulanos. Thank you very much for joining us. An MP there suggesting that Greece should be given an incentive to leave the euro. What do you think of that?
Well, especially after the vote today, this kind of language should be completely out of out of the dictionary. What we need to do is to keep one story straight and keep on that track throughout this process. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process, and the last thing we need is politicians speaking on one hand to the market, from one side of their mouth, and from the other side of the mouth to speak to their electorate. We need to get one story and keep to that story, whether we're in Germany or in Greece or whatever, in order to keep the Eurozone intact.
Was it a great relief to the Greek government, the vote in Berlin today?
Well, it's a step in the right direction. I don't think we should be talking about relief here. The number one thing we need to focus on is to create growth and jobs. Growth and jobs is what's going to get Greece out of the crisis, not bailout packages. And the bailout package definitely contributes to stability and creating the environment in which we can attract investment. But unless we do that, then no bailout package is enough to get Greece out.
You have to achieve so much in such a short space of time, don't you? And many people look at it saying it's not doable to have that amount of restructuring in such a short space of time, when many Greek people as well are opposed to it. Do you have sympathy for some Germans, for example, who feel that perhaps the money should be spent elsewhere, perhaps at home?
Well, I think there's a lot of sympathy that should be spread around here, but the reality is that there's work that needs to be done, and it needs to be done with a particular strategy. We have a strategy. We need to keep the Eurozone intact. We need to get the Greek economy back on its own feet, back on its own capacity to grow, and this is work that cannot be done only by one side of the equation. It needs to be done by all of us together. I think what's most important right now in Europe is to make sure that instead of throwing stones at each other, we actually work with each other in order to produce the change that needs to take place. But at the end of the day, we should be focused on getting a stronger euro, getting a stronger Eurozone, a more intertwined economy, so that we don't see things like that happen again.
Do you think it can survive long term when it's been proven that it's struggling right now with the current system? Perhaps it is too big. Perhaps it should be split in two, for example.
Well, people who speak like that about the European Union and the Eurozone forget that the reason why we got to this union in the first place is exactly because we wanted a peaceful Europe, a Europe that can work with each other as opposed to against each other. The experiences we've had have been devastating. So this is only part of a process of unifying our communities and our economies for the sake of peace and growth. Now, we're going to have difficulties in the process, and we're going to have these sort of back and forth as we go along. But we should stay focused and keep our eyes in the horizon, make sure that this European project works out, and that we all contribute to its success.
What about Greeks watching, thinking, why don't we just cut our losses here, leave the euro, deal with some short-term pain, and then rebuild our economy on a national level? Actually,
the pain leaving the euro will be much more long-term than the actual changes we need to do in the short term. I know that everybody is focused on debt reduction and salary cutting and so forth, but there's a lot of structural changes that are taking place right now in Greece, which are absolutely vital for the growth of the economy. And these are things that we should do, whether in the zone or out of it. So I think the changes can be painful, but they're absolutely necessary right now. And although it's tempting for some to think that leaving the Eurozone would allow us to depreciate our currency and make the Greek economy more competitive in that way, I think that is a solution that will, in the long term, have a much larger cost, and especially for the Greek middle class.
And what will be crucial for your country, of course, is tourism. It's a huge industry for you, and you need to attract people to come to Greece. How are you doing there? People being put off from coming to Greece, and what sort of incentives are you offering them?
Actually, last year we had a record year in arrivals and a record year in income from tourism, and that is very encouraging. We want to continue this kind of growth, and in order to do it, we're working on two tracks. First of all, we're stabilizing the markets that we had in the past, and we're opening new markets. One of the reasons why I'm in England is to get people to think positively about coming to Greece next summer. But
William Hague hasn't helped you there, has he?
No, the statements by Mr. Hague were, I think, in the wrong direction.
Just to clarify, he's been suggesting that Brits should register with the embassy there in case there's some violence.
Well,
right?
this as far as the British government is concerned, is standard practice for them. It's the way that they see protecting their citizens in the best manner. But for Greek tourism, these kinds of statements don't make any, have no benefits, especially if you consider that what you see on your monitors happening in Athens is only in a very small part of one city. So I think the statement might have been necessary for his purposes, but certainly not vital for people who come to Greece and who see a completely different picture of a country that's absolutely peaceful and a lovely place to visit. But going back to your previous question, you said how we're growing the tourism sector. We are opening new markets. We have fantastic growth from Russia, Turkey. We're making bids for China and India. These markets we feel will grow the Greek economy, the Greek tourism sector at least, in the next 10 years. And we see a lot of interest for investment in order to support these kinds of this kind of growth. Now, in order to bring this investment in Greece, which is absolutely vital right now, we need to create a stable environment. And this package is a step in the right direction. We need to build on this package, create a stable environment, get investment back in Greece, get jobs, create more jobs, and make sure that this is the way we turn the Greek economy around.
Minister, thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme.